Fans of our show are always saying things like, "We enjoy all of the talented performers on your show, but we sure get an extra tickle when a comedian is there." If you're one of the fans that says things like that, then here comes your extra tickle. Tim Barnes is a comedian you're really going to enjoy because of the quality of his jokes. They're the kind of jokes that make you laugh and giggle. You know the kind if you've ever seen a comedian before. Here's comedian Tim Barnes.
Hello. Where did I lose you? Before I get started, I want to give you guys a couple seconds to get adjusted to my face, because that's something I'm starting to learn in general, is that people need a couple seconds to get adjusted to my face. You know, like sometimes I walk on the train, I feel like there's a couple seconds where people are going, "Oh my God, is he going to be crazy?" And I get it, because whenever I walk on the train, there's a couple seconds where I think to myself, you know what? Am I going to be crazy? But I'm a simple man. I wear Land Jordans. I walk to conclusions, just the kind of guy I am. And I was on Netflix a couple years ago, and it recommended I go outside for a change and make a person of myself, you know? But I didn't watch it because I don't trust movies with long titles. You ever get so happy you thought you were white for a second? Is that just me? I remember when I was a little girl, my dad would always say, "No, you're not." And he was right about that. He could have been wrong, but he was right. I've had a few ups and downs with my dad. I remember once I got in an argument with him, and he said the craziest thing I've ever heard. He said, "Son, I brought you into this world, and I can do it again." And I said, "What?" And then he snapped his fingers, and I died. Stopped existing, came back to life 20 years later, same argument, didn't bring it up because I learned my lesson. You know what? I also want to mention the elephant in the room. Whenever I tell people I do stand-up, they go, "Oh my God, Tim, I didn't know you do comedy. What race are you?" And I tell them the truth, which is that I grew up in a small town in African America. Don't know if you've ever been to African America, but it's a pretty great place. You get a sandwich in African America with African American cheese, it's just what you do. It's a lot like American cheese, except it's made by the government. But I moved to the U.S. when I was very young, and this is a beautiful place. I actually didn't realize I was black until the 4th grade, because you know how kids will make up games, right? I remember once during recess, all the kids started playing a game called Taxi, and no one picked me up. But this is a beautiful country because no matter what, I can always hail a cop car. Sometimes I don't even have to extend my hand. It just shows up and takes me places. It's kind of fun. I've been trying to save on money because I've realized the perfect way to say this is that I don't make enough money to smile on the train. Does that make sense to you? I don't make enough money to smile on the train. So what I've been doing is I've been trying to say as many sentences during the day that begin with the phrase, "personally as a black man." Personally as a black man. It's a magical phrase. You don't have to be black to say it. It's just kind of a social coupon. Here's an example. I was in a line today, and somebody asked me a question I didn't like. And so I said, "Well, personally, as a black man, I'll have a caramel macchiato." And it was great. Very speedy service. I got it for free, you know? And I was also proud of myself because I'm at a Starbucks. I don't know how the words work. I usually just go up there and tell them the way I like my women, which is great because it turns out that's a caramel macchiato. And in case you're wondering, I don't judge when it comes to women. I like strong black women of all races. I just don't know how to talk to them. Like I was in a club a couple seconds ago. I'll just make it up for the sake of this joke. I was in a club, and I approached this woman. I said, "Excuse me, is that seat taken? Because I'd like to ask it out on a date." Sorry, I said that wrong. What I'm trying to say is I'd like to make love with that chair. Sometimes I feel like I don't belong in a club because I watched too much sci-fi as a kid. All the dance moves I know came from the intro to The Cosby Show, which we all know is one of the greatest science fiction programs of all time, right? So I approached another woman. I said, "Does your face hurt? Because it looks like you damaged it when you fell from heaven." Didn't do so well. "Is that a hunchback or just hiding your wings?" You know, for someone who's been running through my mind all day, you sure haven't lost any weight. None of those worked. That's my time.
Wow, Tim, what a funny series of jokes you told. Thanks so much for being on Steve Gadlin Star Maker.
Thanks so much for having me.
That was great. So, Tim, what is that short for?
It's short for tea. I drink it every morning, and so my parents named me after it.
That's great naming. And tell me, what got you into telling jokes?
I realized that it was fun, and so I kept doing it, and I enjoy it.
Well, that's a good message for anyone with the talent. Find something that's fun and just keep doing it. Tell me, Tim, who are your favorite famous comedians?
My favorite famous comedians, I always say I try to combine Woody Allen and Richard Pryor.
Well, I bet if we put them together in a blender, we'd get a Tim Barnes frappe. There I go trying my hand at jokes. Well, Tim, thanks for being on the show. Hi, I'm Steve Gadlin, the host of Steve Gadlin Star Makers. Thanks so much for watching our video. For more of tomorrow's stars of Hollywood and/or Broadway, click on my face to subscribe to our YouTube channel. I hope to see you again.